Oi, tudo bem? So in this video, I just want to go through how to connect to the Ohio Supercomputer Center using their on-demand resource. So we're going to connect to the supercomputer using a web browser. So you can connect using traditional methods like a terminal, but I'm going to go through how to use on-demand, and I'm going to use on-demand exclusively in this class, just so that we can all do things as consistently as possible, right, and to help facilitate my ability to help you. Okay, so to connect, I'm just going to search for ondemand.osc.edu. Okay, so ondemand.osc.edu. Okay, then I'll be brought to a login screen, right? If you forget your password, right, you can follow the link to my.osc.edu to reset your password. Okay, but I'm going to log in. MIU0105 is my username. I'll type in my password and I will log in. And that's it, right? So you could ignore this. This is from another project, actually a course I taught in Tanzania. It's reminded me I'm hitting my storage limit for that class project. But from this home splash screen, right, you can look for any messages of the day, which are there. But then if I want to open up a cluster, right, similar to how I'd open up a cluster, or if I were to connect to the supercomputer via Vim, on the drop-down menu, I'm just going to click Cluster, and then we'll use the Pitzer Cluster. And there you have it. I have essentially the equivalent of, terminal in a web browser. Okay, so yeah, so if I were to type, say, pwd, I get my local directory. Okay, if I type clear, right, I clear my screen and I'm back to where I am. Okay. So a couple of notes, right? So one, right, I have a terminal open. If you want to have multiple terminals open, you can. Just come back to my first tab under clusters, click Pitzer again, and I've got another terminal shell open. Okay. But if I go back to my first one, all right, so pwd, all right, so when I first log in, okay, I'm going to be placed in my home directory. So my home directory is here, all right, /users pmiu0124 /miu0105. Okay, so pmiu0124, that's the name of that's the name given to my research allocation, and so we're going to be using my research allocation. Okay, and so you'll see pmiu0124 come up a lot, and then there's my username. Okay, and so what should hopefully happen is if I back up a directory, is that as you all create accounts, that you should end up with a home directory within this common folder. Okay. All right, so I'm going to get back to my home directory and type clear. So it first places you in your home directory. So within your home directory, you're going to have 500 gigabytes of storage allocated to you, and that storage space is backed up and archived. Okay, and so it's a great place to store data. For the purpose of my demonstration, though, I'm not going to run the calculations from my home directory. I'm going to run from our scratch space. And the reason I'm going to run from scratch space is that there's no storage restriction, but it'll just facilitate all of us being able to interact and access the same files. So to get to that, okay, I'm going to open up cd/fs/scratch. Okay, and then again, our project name is PMIU0124. So fs scratch PMIU0124. Okay, and if I type ls, right, I see some folders I have there. I'm going to make a directory right now, and I'll call it UFI 2023. Okay, and I'll make sure that we all have permission to read and write in this UFI folder. Okay, cool. Now, if I were to open, so again, I'm in fs scratch PMIU0124. So if I were to open up UFI, if I wanted to edit files, I could do them in the normal way, say via Vim, right? So I could Vim, some new document test.txt. Okay, and within it, I could say, hi, this is a test. Okay. Okay, and so that test file is there. Now the other thing I want to show you, though, is yeah, we could edit, using Vim, but they also have this really nice file explorer. So under Files, under Dropdown, okay, I have links to all the directories where I have files stored. Okay, but the top one is the scratch space of my research allocation. Okay, so under Files, I'm going to go here, right? See home directories first, but I'm going to go to our scratch space. I see our UFI folder listed there. Okay, and there's test. Okay, so when I see the test file, I can do things like I could just view it in a web browser. Hey, I can see the contents. Okay, okay, but let me close this. Okay, I could also open it up in an editor. So if I don't want to use Vim, I could open it up in an editor here. Okay, and within this I can make changes. So adding more text. Okay, so I can make changes, right, and save, right, via this editor. Okay, and so when I close my editor now, okay, and come right back here to view, right, hey, look, it's been updated. Okay, so it's nice in that from here, right, I can view, I can edit, I can rename, I can download. Okay, and so I'll populate this with sample simulation files that we'll use for our activities, but you can go to this file explorer. You'll be able to download directories and files. You'll be able to edit. And so if you're not comfortable from the command window, it's all there. Okay. And then we have our equivalent of a terminal, just right here via a web browser. Okay. And I'm not sure if we're going to need it for this class, but there are other capabilities. Okay. So in terms of interactive apps, I could get a virtual Linux desktop. And so we've used that before, where I've installed XM Grace in terms of being able to see graphs. And there's all other sorts of cool tools that are installed. Okay, but hope that helps, and we'll go through everything throughout the course of the workshop too, and um, so hopefully it should be no problem. But hopefully that gets you just to be able to connect. You can go on and play around and explore, and we'll be off and running as soon as we start running some calculations. We'll see you soon.